Alweer massacres. Lekker chilly here in Swakop today. See, wearing my clothes. It's already 6 o'clock in the evening, or past 6. Sun's starting to go down. Got a little bit of time to turn this pile. It's Wednesday the 23rd today, so it means that's day 4 of our compost pile. So it will be our first turn for this pile. I'm counting that is we built this pile on Saturday the 19th, but it was late the evening that we built it. So if we built it in the morning, I would have counted Saturday as day 1, but we left it for a little bit late in the evening, so Saturday didn't count. So we counted from Sunday is day 1, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is day 4 for this pile. Okay, so we're gonna check this pile now. The critical things that I'm gonna be looking for while I'm turning this pile is moisture is what we're trying to get right at this point in time. The temperature should be up already at this point, but I'm not expecting it to be at the 60 to 70 degree mark where it should be. But if it is, that's also good. If it's over 70 degrees, then we know our pile is too hot, meaning there's too much nitrogen or we've got too much moisture in the pile. The nitrogen might be too high in this pile because we did use a lot of manures. So I suspect we might have a little bit of anaerobism in this pile as well. So I'll be looking out for signs of that as well in this pile as I'm turning it. And we'll make some adjustments. If we do find adverse conditions, we'll talk you through it. But I'm first going to uncover this pile. We covered this pile just to keep the chickens off.
So we just noticed the chickens are totally flattening this pile now, which is good. We want them to scratch through the pile, but we first want the pile to heat up because we've got some goat manure in there, and the goat manure normally carries some root knot nematode. So we'd like this pile to heat up to that 60 to 70 degrees. And if they're scratching it open like that, it'll probably heat up on the center, but we want as much of the pile to heat up. So I think we'll cover the pile for the first 8 days, and then we'll let them have a go at the compost again to open it up and aerate it, which is their job eventually. Let's go check how it looks there. Yeah, so it looks like they're sand bathing inside the pile as well. They flattened it. They flattened it quite a bit. You see, the challenge is we don't want this dilution that's happening here at the bottom now. For now, we don't want to add too much sand into the pile. We're just gonna scooch all this stuff back up again and then cover it up just to keep them off for a little bit, just for 8 days, ladies and gents. Beautiful roosters.
Had them on the pile just to reduce the height of the pile, so that also reduces the instance of anaerobism. If your pile is too high, it means that no air can get into the pile as well. So the general rule of thumb is that we try to keep the pile at the 1.5 meter, between 1.5 and 2 meters. About 2 meters high, then your pile is way too high, and it causes anaerobic spots within your pile. So I use the chickens to work the pile down during the day, but they also started to blend the compost into the sand around it, which we don't want. So yeah, let's get working because the sun's going down. Gonna open it up and check what's happening. Okay, and you see the chickens, they like working through the compost. Let's check the temperature. And I've got the moisture meter that Peter Allen gave. I'm just gonna stick it in here. See what that is. Let's check that out. Moisture says it's wet. Okay, so I'm testing this moisture meter. The moisture meter that Peter Allen gave me. Thank you, Peter Allen, again. I still need to calibrate myself onto what it's reading. But I've got a general feel for what the pile should feel like, the moisture content. Because when you build piles, or as many piles as we've built over the years, you get a general feel for how things should feel. Okay, temperature. We are up to the 60 mark. This is actually very good for day 4. Okay, so it indicates that it's not too anaerobic, it's not getting too hot, too fast. Okay, we want it to be in that 60 to 70 for the first 8 days. Okay, so how we do our compost is we move it downhill to the end. We keep it closer to the chickens so they can work through it. As we move the pile, they start losing interest as the nutrients and the bugs start balancing out within the pile, and as they picked up all the seeds. So the further the pile comes, the less interest they have in the pile, and they like working on the fresh piles because there's fresh food and things inside these piles first. Okay, so I'll move that pile on, and then we'll get to this one. Okay, so now that we've moved that pile, I'm just gonna give this pile a quick wet. I'm actually on my own here, so I'm rushing a little bit so that we can at least get it while it's light. So I just need to wet the outside a little bit, because what's going to happen now is the outside is going to become the inside. So we need the moisture content to remain the same on the inside. So I'll just wet the outside first, because this will become the inside later, or on this turn. So we don't need too much moisture now, because the file is wet, as Peter Allen's moisture meter says. It's wet. I'm just gonna give it a little wet down, but we'll check it. We'll check it still. It's been quite cold and wet and misty in Swakop. So the amount of moisture that I'm adding also depends on the conditions outside. So because it's been cold and moist, this water that I added was very little. Normally when it's hot and dry, we'd first put the sprinkler on the pile a little bit before we turn it, okay? But I think the moisture should still be fairly similar to what we started. It's just the outside that dried out a little bit. But let's get turning before the sun catches us. I just quickly stopped just to have a check and use my senses to feel out this pile. I can smell there is a whiff of ammonia. I've got a little whiff of ammonia, but it's not stinky. It's a sweet ammonia smell, which is normally indicative of the beginning of the pile. But it doesn't stink. It smells good. If you smell it and you have to pull your face away, then you know it's anaerobic through and through. But there is a little bit of ammonia smell, so that is indicative of high nitrogen content in there because of all the manure that is added into it. And then there are a few dry spots in between, but in general, like you see, this is a bit dry, but it's getting hot there as well. I can't even grab it too much. But in general, it's not dripping wet, which is what we want. It's not too bad, it looks good. The moisture is fine, it's just moist, it's not wet. Like Peter Allen Meter says it's wet, but it's actually just moist. Let's just check what Peter Allen Meter says here. Is it a 9 over here? Yeah. So here let's just compact it a bit. That's about a 9, yeah. The 9 is good. Compact, yeah. It's wet. What does wet mean? Wet is actually where we want it. It's not dripping yet, but there is moisture. You can see there's moisture in it, and it's not stinky. Just to check the temperature, we're sitting in the inside core at about 50 degrees as of. Not too bad. 50 to 60. Yeah. But sorry for the rush. We need to get the sun. Sun's going down. Okay, so we just made it. Sun's down now. I'm quite happy with this pile. Indications look good. There were a few dry spots in between that we saw, but the nice thing about the machine is it mixes the material a little bit. So we'll add a little bit of water during the week, but the moisture looks good. And then just another thing, it took us about 30 minutes, not taking into consideration all the camera moving and all that, to show you guys this content. Just Bluey time was probably about, let's say, 25 to 30 minutes just working, and that's on both piles that we were turning. So I'd say this took about 20 minutes with Bluey, whereas a pile like this for myself and Johannes would probably take us a good hour and a half to 2 hours to turn if we two guys turning this pile for the size of the pile. But what we normally do when we do the Berkeley method, you can do it by hand. Then you go for piles that are 1 cubic to 2 cubic meters max, because then you've got about a 40-minute turn workout, I call it, which is actually good. We've made thousands of them by hand, but Bluey just makes the work better. Appropriate technology helps reduce time spent on things that you could be focusing on other things with. Okay, so Bluey we see as appropriate technology. It's technology we are using to heal the earth. Then we'll leave this pile open now, so the chickens can scratch through and, as I said, just reduce the height of it a little bit, and get it open for us so that we can add the sprinkler. So probably tomorrow, after they flatten it a little bit, tomorrow evening I'll put the sprinkler on here again for about, let's say, half an hour to an hour, just to get those dry spots. Nitrogen to carbon ratio, fairly good. I think it's a little bit on the high side on the nitrogen because of that slight ammonia smell that I'm getting, but it's not a bad smell. It's a sweet ammonia smell, which is alright for the first turn of the pile. But if I'd make adjustments on the next turn, I would probably add a little bit of wood shavings just to get that carbon to nitrogen ratio in the spec. So I think one bucket of wood chips into the next turn would be good for this pile. But all in all, I'm happy with the progress of this pile. It's looking good. Next turn will be in 4 days again. So that will be day 8, but we'll keep you posted on that. Now we're cooking like a man.